Hi, everybody. Welcome to Turner Time, featuring Warren County High School football coach Matt Turner. I'm Jay Walker with 92.1 The Ticket, your home for Pioneer Sports in Warren County. We're also joined by the Warren County Sports Authority, Jeff Simmons. Well, no game this week. Warren County has the bye week, and so we're 7-0. Go look at how we got to that point.
All right. How did we?
Going out, starting 0-0 every week.
Starting 0-0, yeah.
Starting 0-0 every week.
I guess you add them all up, yep, maybe.
Get to 7.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with memorable moments from the DeKalb County game, which Warren County won 30-24.
Hey, first play of the how did we get here, Coach? First play of the season, running for a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
Set the tone.
Yeah, C.J. Taylor done his thing right there, and I think that was even. There was debate if that was a busted play or not. So, of course, I think that's the second play, wasn't it?
Yep. I mean, we're going to see all the scoring plays from the DeKalb County game for Warren County here, and then that's C.J. Taylor going 50 more yards, and it just keeps adding up. There's that's one thing that we've talked about recently was in these last couple of games that you've won, that deep passing game's kind of not been there as much as where it was maybe even in that first game, but. This Pioneer team has just changed so much, but grown so much even from this first game.
Yeah, it's crazy, because we still work on a passing game, and I think it's still vital there. But I know Coach Schultz wants to throw it, and I know throwing it helps make these runs happen. But thus far, our ground game has been successful, and I hate putting the ball in the air. Especially, and the caliber of athletes and caliber teams, I felt like has increased as the season went on too. Especially against BLACKMAN. I know we'll watch that later on, but they had a heck of a DB core back there, and wanted to eliminate them. But yeah, it started right there. I think CJ got he was on a mission to try to get out there and get the recruits on him and show the the country what CJ Taylor's about.
Also had some defensive highlights.
All right.
I think there were a lot of C.J. Taylor in these too, probably. There was Warren County's done this all year, has been able to get after the quarterback. I mean, that's Braden Bottoms just absolutely laying out a guy and cause turnovers. And this was C.J. Taylor going up.
That's Dante right there, I think. Or was that C.J.?
That was C.J.
That was C.J.? Yeah.
Yep. And you just sit here and you watch this team figuring out ways to impact the quarterback week to week, and it started from the very first night, getting after Axel Aldino, the reigning region player of the year.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be a region player this year. The defense, I felt like we was ahead of the curve there a little bit at the beginning of the year as well. Just like you said, we talked about before, confidence level, and I felt like Coach Bond really was in his own and had a good game plan. And, of course, DeKalb County had never seen Braden Bottoms, so that was an addition that they wasn't prepared for. And, we literally went into that game blind. But
it seems like forever ago when we were even wondering if we were ever going to play that game.
Oh, I know, right? It's crazy.
Week 2, payback was on everybody's mind as Cannon County came to town and Warren County shut them out 48-0.
Yeah, of course, obviously, Cannon County lost a lot of squad members that they had from last year's team, and Warren County, we wanted to make a statement in this game that, that game last year was shouldn't have happened the way it went. But anyway, the guys came out pretty pumped up and ready to go, got after it, and defense played lights out. So
you already saw the 2 touchdowns that C.J. Taylor scored in this game. Cason Holder scores his first touchdown of his career in this game. Rylan Holder later scores a touchdown, gets his first touchdown in this game. And then Eli Cantrell, I think, is going to come up here on this highlight package here in a little bit. It's just a game where you decided it was played on a Thursday night. Again, as we've moved into the schedule, it's weird looking back at it now, but it was played on a Thursday night. Weird kind of game because it got moved for a hurricane, but came out and made a statement and played all the way to the end, and just did your thing. And of course, like I said, that the Eli Cantrell run right here was maybe the highlight of the night.
Yeah, it's great to see young, because we got a lot of good, because some of those kids that got some playing time at this point in the season are not even traveling with us right now because of the COVID restrictions, or not the restrictions. It's not really. It's actually the coaching staff's restrictions just to keep the kids isolated. But yeah, the kids got some good opportunities to play because I think we dressed everybody that night. The sideline looked good, and we had opportunity to get some varsity snaps for everybody. But yeah, it was kind of weird being played on a Thursday. Of course, that hurricane came through, and that rain was pretty wet. And I don't think it was a good call. But anyway, yeah, it was a great night. And anytime we have a pitch a shutout right there, it's awesome.
Yeah, might mention Xander Lee also had.
Yeah, Xander Lee had that big touchdown run right there early in the game. And, of course, Eli, that's just a great example of a young man showed us what he's capable of doing. So,
well, then we began week 3 going to Rockvale in the first game of the region. Rockvale looking for some payback from last year.
Yep.
But they didn't get it.
No, they didn't. The Rockvale game, of course, going to any time you go to Rutherford County, it's tough. And, of course, Rockvale had a lot of athletes. Got a great coaching staff and was in the game. And I know they hit us pretty hard early on at the beginning of the game and kind of stunned us a little bit because we've been pretty explosive the first 2 weeks. And it took a minute for our guys to settle down. And then, of course, I think CJ was, we was trying to, protect that shoulder at that time because he took that shot earlier in the week. And but then went out and threw for how many yards, Simmons?
Oh, he threw he threw 2 touchdown passes that game. I think he had about 150. And this one, including that last one, the highlights that we were seeing Casey Holder catch this touchdown pass that put us up at halftime.
Yep.
But then
game
Rockvale scores with 2 minutes to go, goes up.
Yeah.
And then, CJ airs it out, 54 seconds to go. Casey Holder runs under it and scores another touchdown. But then defensively in this game as well, they had to come through and make a big play at the end of the game. And of course, all throughout the game, the defense was pretty stout against Rockvale.
Yeah, the defense played well. They've played well all year. And I think, was this the game Ryland got the interception at the end to seal it, which was nice.
Yeah. I think I was actually on the call with Jay for this game up in the box, and Ryland steps in front of this one, picks it off.
Boom, right there, yep.
You're at this point, you're 3-0. You've beaten a Murfreesboro team again.
At Murfreesboro.
At Murfreesboro. That was the big step that they made for this game. So 3-0, and like you said, this was coming off a game where, Coach, you challenged your team a lot in this Rockvale game because even though we did win that Cannon County game 48-0,
you had to bring it back up.
It was ugly. It was
we did
a lot of touchdowns called back in that game, and I think played a lot cleaner game against Rockvale and got it done at the very end.
We did, and Rockvale, that's a year 2 team, but I think they still had 25 to 30 seniors, with a veteran head coach that's got some state championships under his belt. So I don't really care that they're a year 2 team. That's a good football team right there. And they actually just came off their first win against Franklin County, I think, the week before.
They were.
So, so I was very proud of our young men. And anytime we go into Murfreesboro and come away with a win, that's huge.
Week 4, Lawrence County came to town. They had to make the 3-hour drive.
That's right.
This time.
That's right.
And Warren County just takes them to the woodshed.
Yeah, and I don't know if that drive affected them as bad as it did us, or just the fact that we felt that this senior class felt that we shouldn't have lost that game last year. We had a couple miscues on special teams the year before, and it was kind of like the Cannon County game, and this team knew that they was the better team, but didn't perform, didn't execute well, and so they wanted to, that's why they wanted to just thoroughly dominate this game, and of course they came off playing well, and of course it's, I saw Lawrence County kind of give it up. There's a point in that game that their spirits got broke, and then that's when you can really pour it on.
Yeah, well, when you defensively dominate a team like you did against Lawrence County, I know that Hunter Birch, that was a great.
That's it right there. Yes,
but
sir.
Defensively, I think was the story of this game. I think they came through. Again, we've talked about this a lot at Nunley Stadium this year. 3 points allowed in 3 home games thus far at Nunley Stadium, and the defense just gets it done at Nunley Stadium, and pulls out a win. And this was against a team that we heard a lot about their quarterback, Alex Carr. He was a very mobile, salty kid. He really could do some things, and kind of just shut him down. I think this is kind of where you started seeing that this Pioneer defense was starting to build something special with this athletic back seven and then a very good rush team.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe that's a straight reflection of Coach Bond and Coach Ramsey and Coach Donnie Harris. There's 3 coaches on that defensive staff, and man, if they've not had a top-tier defensive plan each and every week thus far, and executed it, and they're very dedicated. And I mean, they know it's amazing to see. And they had the same system last year, but you can tell one more year it's just going back to that confidence level as far as breaking things down and then watching them through the week. They continue to watch that film, and Coach Bond's got a really good eye to find that one tendency that, like, hey, they only do this in this formation, and I know we can put our kids in this spot to make something happen. And he's done a great job, and just hats off to him for this defense.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was great to do.
Yep.
Week number 5, I think, is when the state began to sit up and take notice of Warren County, or at least the region did. Warren County goes to Blackman, jumps out to a big lead, has to hold off a furious Blackman rally. Game went down to the wire, but Warren County beats Blackman for the first time ever.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very special night that night. And I felt like maybe Blackman overlooked us that. I mean, obviously, I feel like they did. And then of course we came out and was very physical with them, brutal. And then of course CJ kind of went. He got possessed and went off the hook. And broke their spirits. And then, of course, people don't realize I call them the Dirty 30 now because we're only traveling about 30 guys, because we've probably got a mix of 18 kids that are doing, 90% of the playing. The other guys are role players, and they know their role, and I think everybody understands that this is what it takes. But we started running out a little steam there in the fourth quarter, and, of course, Blackman, you can see on the sideline there how many numbers they've got, and they've got fresh bodies in and out, and speed. And, of course, they got a little momentum in the fourth quarter, man, and we was doing everything we could just to hang on.
Yeah, as you said, I think C.J. Taylor, this is where, in my estimation, I've written about it a lot on the Warren County Sports Authority. This is where the Mr. Football campaign, I think, started for CJ, and I think people started to realize, okay, Warren County's not just blowing smoke about this. This should be a true campaign because 309 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, how many different state awards did he win that week for the Blackman game?
Oh, yeah, he got the BSN, the BSN, which is our big rep, Tennessean, got Player of the Week. So, yeah, and this wasn't, and not knocking any of our lower tier teams or the teams underneath us. This is Blackman.
Yep.
And whether, and I can't help it that Blackman scheduled 3 buzzsaws at the beginning of the season, and their record, kind of reflects that a little bit, because obviously they may be not as strong as they have been in the past, but, because they had Mr. Football last year with Connor Murphy as a linebacker. And obviously you can see where having a certain kid here and there in a position makes a big difference, But yeah, it's a legit statement that number 1 right there should be in that discussion of Mr. Football.
Yeah, and still, like you said, you still had to hang on, and you had to do it defensively at the end of the game. I know earlier in the game, making big plays. Again, this is something we talked about. Clay Thompson made a huge pick in this game, but at the end, you had to make a big stop in the end zone, and Dante Elam. I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, and people don't even realize, like, you talked about Clay Thompson. Clay Thompson went down and we actually had to shift. Coach Bond did a great job shifting and literally shifting our DBs around in our secondary because we was missing Ben Rivers. We was I'm trying to think. Clay went down.
Devins.
Devins Lewis. Devins
to,
in first year playing varsity, and then we had Nate Elrod in there that was not ready, a sophomore, that's not ready to tackle or try to defend guys that are going to be playing this time next year on Saturday. But anyway, so they came together and had a good plan, and I mean it went down to the wire, obviously.
Would Blackman say right now if this game was 1 minute longer they would have won it? Sure,
and I'd probably say the same thing.
Maybe they would have, but it wasn't. And at 48 minutes they blew the whistle, and we were 5-0.
Yeah, I mean we did what we needed to do to win. It wasn't pretty. I mean I wish we'd have got another score and put them in mercy, and then but then they I mean the excuse then would have been, Blackman's just really down this year. Not that Warren County's got a good football team.
Yep.
Well, week 6, we had to make another trip to Murfreesboro, our third of the season. Still flying high after the Blackman win, and we go to Siegel, and the good teams can win even when it gets ugly. So Warren County, I guess, won ugly 25-20.
Yeah, win's a win. They can call it ugly, pretty, whatever they want, but a win's a win. It goes in that win column. And these guys. People say we overlooked them. People say, and I don't really care what people say. I'm in that locker room with those young men, and I saw that they had not recovered from that Blackman game. That's just the fact of the matter. I think they had all the want to in their world, and they knew they was a better team than Siegel. And, of course, Siegel had an 0-5 record going into that. But that was a good Siegel football team. There was some athletes there, and that team is getting better. And they'd moved that little number 3. What was his name?
Kendall Martin.
Yeah, Martin kid. Lord goodness, he was small and compact and quick, hard to get a beat on. But our guys was just physically exhausted because they was in a heavyweight 15 round fight the week before, and we don't change anything up. And like I said, going back to that dirty 30, man. I asked them big to step up. And Siegel came out. We was at Rutherford County, at Siegel's home turf. And I think that was the first time we'd ever beat Siegel at Siegel.
Yep, it was. It's the first time. I mean, the last 2 years are your first 2 wins over Siegel. And let's put it this way. There's a little bit of a history with Warren County and Siegel. It's not the friendliest place to play either.
No.
And they were all over Warren County, and they were relishing in the fact that they at one point thought that they were going to end Warren County's perfect season, and had it 25-20, had to kick off with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go, thinking we're going to stop them, get the ball back, and take the lead. Never got the ball back. Would not give them back. And that's when you talk about those 30 kids and the exhaustion level that they were put in, to go in, get the ball with 6 minutes to go, and never give it back and run it all the way down. And, we've talked about this before. You were at the 1 yard line with 45 seconds to go. If you really wanted to make a statement in that game, it wouldn't have been that hard to punch that in.
No.
But you didn't. You took it. You let it go, took the knee, got the win, and got it done again with some defensive plays. And there's Cason Holder had an excellent game.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was the one that went off the rails on this game. Yeah. And then just dominated and stepped up big. Grayson had a big game that game.
Ashburn
came up big right there. And they would get block punt. We did some good things there. You take away that kickoff return that they had, and then we punch it in there at the end. It still doesn't change the fact that we came out, played exhausted and tired and ugly, and it was still been an ugly win. But now the people that at home that don't know any better just looks in the column and sees 35 to 13 and think, oh, well, yeah, Warren County's, Siegel just must really be bad. That's what the excuse is there. It's not Warren County's got a good team. It's how bad everybody else is. That's okay.
Week number 7, homecoming, and Cookeville comes to town. Hadn't beaten them since 2008, and what a game! What a dominant game for the Pioneers.
Yeah, I guarantee you they're still sore. So anytime we can be brutally physical with Cookeville, it's a good night. And that was such a fun night. Because that was actually a win that things was clicking for us. We was playing on 8 cylinders, and you could just see the wind and them just almost waving the flag. Of course, Stockton Owen, it built up to a big hype game kind of between quarterbacks, and I think by the end of the night there was no doubt that C.J. Taylor was by far the superior athlete on that field.
Yep. I mean, and then, I think this is a run that we're going to continue to talk
this
about.
This is the run.
The time.
Yeah, we got to come up with a name for this play. They don't know
Ryland's Rumble or something.
Yeah.
But
So,
I think this was the story of this game. I think this is the story of the 7-0 season. Perseverance, never quitting, willing to fight for the extra yard every single play.
Yeah.
And we could watch this play.
I saw Caden Jordan, and like I said, every time I watch it, it just gets more and more unbelievable. Caden Jordan hits the pile, falls down, jumps up, hits the pile again. These are the offensive linemen, and they won't see that young man right there get in the end zone. So I mean, that was a great night, But yeah, I'd agree. That's a statement there, And then if people that's watching any of the highlights on social media or anything else, you saw C.J. Taylor go out there and get him. And help him walk off the field because he was literally carrying Cookville into the end zone.
Yeah, he's just dragging people.
And there's Mr. Owen, number 6, right there, and you can watch him jump his feet up and just hang. He literally hangs. Right here, he is hanging backwards.
Yep, and then Dayton Jernigan, a sophomore offensive lineman, is over there just pulling Ryland into the end zone. He never goes down.
Never goes down.
I mean, it's impressive. Then, of course, defense, we keep going to it over and over and over again. This was the second shutout for the team. This happened 10 days ago. Second shutout of the season at home, only have given up 3 points at home. And, this team had went 6 years without shutting out an opponent. And they have done it twice in 3 games at Nunlin Stadium this year.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, as a coaching staff, we believe that, that right there, if they can't score, they can't score, they can't win. And that's why I feel like our best athletes are going to be on that defensive side of the ball. And I know the high school student don't really understand that a lot of times because you don't get as much publicity or, about what you did necessarily because on defense, these guys that play, they all got to do their position. But, Clay had a big game that night. Grayson, Elrod's played lights out, So it's just it's amazing to see this defense come together and what Coach Bond and Coach Harris and Mr. Bo Ramsey's done on Speedbo.
So here we are at 7-0 during the bye week. Let's look at the stats for the first 7 games.
Yeah, what you got a stat, man?
CJ passing 34 for 57, 423 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. Rushing, CJ with 140 carries, 1,282 yards, 17 touchdowns.
It's an incredible. The thing to me is you see 57 carries 57 passes for CJ, 140 carries. So that's 197 plays in 7 games, 0 turnovers. He hasn't fumbled. He hasn't thrown an interception. Yeah. We get the knock on wood on that. But he's piling up over 1,800 total yards this season. I mean, he's doing it in the return game. He's running the ball well. He's throwing the ball well. He's taking care of the ball. I mean, this is why I continue to tell people he's not just a candidate for Mr. Football. He should be the front runner right now.
I think so too. And I'm learning. Because how many times we ever had this opportunity in Warren County. I'm sure Jeff Womack's. I don't think it was a. Was it a?
I don't even know if it was a Mr. Football at that time. I think it was just maybe he was an all-state selection a couple of different
now,
times.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think this title was there. I'm sure if it was, he would have been in the front runner, obviously, no doubt. And I understand it's a I think there's a political side to that. I mean, like you keep calling it the campaign because that's what it is. I think it's voted on by press and media, and then who else? We're just trying to figure it out. But yeah, I'm gonna do everything that I can to get his name out there and keep pushing it. But I guarantee you, he'll continue pumping those numbers out.
Ryland Holder, 52 carries, 309 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Braylon Grayson, 19 carries, 175 yards. Cason Holder, 16 carries, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Bryson Elrod with 2 touchdown runs. He's been very reliable on that quarterback sneak, hasn't he?
He is. I mean, he likes getting that. He likes getting behind them pads, and of course, I probably would too if I was him. So yeah, he's been pretty dominant on that, and that's kind of our tubby. I think everybody knows that's what the name of it's called. It's not a secret.
Clay Thompson, Xander Lee, Eli Cantrell, each with a touchdown run. Receiving, Kaysen with 10 catches, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Clay Thompson, 9 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Dante Elam, 8 catches, 105 yards. Braylon Grayson, 5 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown. Ryland Holder with 2 catches.
Yeah, the passing game, like we talked about earlier in the year, I think that was something that you were leaning on. But I think as you got into that BLACKMAN game, and I think it was really, we keep talking about the BLACKMAN game and where the season kind of changed, you realize that you don't have to be very complicated with this team.
No.
You can do everything that you need to do offensively on the ground. And it's great to know that you can get out there and air it out if you need to. And you wouldn't have beaten ROCKVALE without the passing game. And these guys can all make plays. But I think the versatility that you see on that list, because the names that you see in the receiving column are the same names you see in the rushing column, and that's because this offense is interchangeable, and guys can make plays each way. So I think that's been big for the passing game.
Yeah, in our passing game, and the crazy thing is, we probably work on our passing game more in practice. Of course, y'all both been and watched our practices, but we work on our passing game in practice probably more so than we do our run game. So I think and it's good, but I think that's a card that you play when you need to, and I think. And I'm sure there'll be some opportunities the rest of the season to see that there may be some need to, but we'll be ready.
We've got to mention our offensive line. The starters: Douglas Wells, Kate Jordan, Brayton Bottoms, Brian McNulty, and Dayton Jernigan.
That's it.
Paved the way for 2,106 rushing yards, 27 touchdowns.
Coach, I'll do some quick math there. That's 300 yards per game. On the ground.
That's pretty nice.
That's 300 yards per game for 7 games, and 27, almost 4 touchdowns per game on the ground. I mean, that's
pretty good.
Impressive.
Is it? I mean, I don't have time to read other people's stats. So,
yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a stat guy, but also it's pretty successful.
Defensively, the top tacklers: Braylon Grayson with 50 tackles. Bryson Elrod with 42, Kaysen Holder 39, Ryland Holder 38, C.J. Taylor 26, Clay Thompson 26, Dante Elam 22, Dayton Jernigan 14, Joseph Lanier 13, Brayton Bottoms 12 tackles, Aaron Ashburn with 11.
He bringing that up, and you see the names that we've talked about a lot. One that steps out to me is Joseph Lanier. It's a guy that we probably haven't talked about a ton on the show. But he's doing his job. When we talked about the injuries that happened with the secondary and all the things that had to move in, he started shifting people around. Joseph Lanier was a part of that shutout, and a big part of that shutout against Cookeville.
And you rated the baseball team, took Brayton Bottoms from behind the plate, and put him on the football field. Man, as he produced Brayton Bottoms and Bryson Elrod, each with 4 sacks. Braylon Grayson with 3 sacks, C.J. Taylor 2. Kaysen Holder, Ryland Holder, Aaron Ashburn, 1 sack each.
It's awesome.
Turnovers: Clay Thompson, 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. CJ with 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception. Kaysen Holder, an interception, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Ryland Holder, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble and a pick, and Drayton Dixon with 1 interception.
Coach, you do a good job of turning people over and getting after the quarterback, and I think that's what I've seen about this defense. And when you see those numbers, just the ability to take the ball away, and protect the ball, and put quarterbacks in a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a great job by this defense.
It has. They've done a good job. It's neat to see all that all in one list like that. It's a very impressive job. I can't go back saying again, Coach Bond and that defensive staff.
Well, Coach, we've got the Coffee County Red Raiders. We'll be going to their place Friday night. What kind of challenges will Coffee County present?
Well, Coffee County is going to be that is a rival game. And I think it's another team that we cannot stand. We're gonna try to lay the lumber like we did against Cookville, and I'm anxious to see how well these guys are rested up after coming off our bye week and trying to get our legs and our shoulders and just our joints and stuff like that back underneath us. Because it was a long stretch there. I think it was 9 weeks school, and I think we had about 15 weeks of pretty hard practice there, and some heavyweight bouts with the Blackman game, and that Blackman game really struggled as far as the wear and tear on our body. So the Dirty 30 will be ramped up, ready to go. And also we know that Coffee County is always fired up to play us. So, I know they're not looking to overshoot us. And, and I don't even want to discuss where the playoff, predicament is, but my thing is I feel like if both teams have an opportunity, if they beat, whichever team comes away with a win's got a better opportunity than the other.
Yeah, the path to the playoffs right now is something that people are going to be discussing, but as we've heard over and over and over, we're 0-0 going into this game.
Yes.
And as for getting fired up and stuff like that, let's just say that I don't think that we're going to have any trouble getting motivated against a team that has C.J. Anthony on it. Just leave it there.
But yeah, as far as they've got a new defensive coordinator. Defense looks pretty salty. I think their game with Cookville was because they're 2-2 in the region. And the last region game for them was Cookville 2019 at Cookville. So this is a good team. Of course they've beat the same teams that we've beat. With the exception of Cookville.
And Blackman,
oh, yeah, I forgot about that. They've played Blackman?
They've played Blackman.
That's right.
But it's just going to be a good game, and I think we're expecting to see a hopefully rejuvenated Pioneer team after this 2-week break. And
I do too. Of course, you never know how that goes. So I'm it's always rolling of the dice because you never know how much time off is too much, or out of the sync, out of rhythm, because school is back in session and with all the kids, so it's going to be a new routine. So it'll almost be like school started over for the beginning.
Yep.
But yeah, but either way, it's still going to be Friday Night Lights right across Interstate 24 over there, and we're going to try to lay the lumber.
So it's Warren County at Coffee County, Friday night, 7 o'clock. Get you a ticket if you can. We will have the game live on 92.1 The Ticket, and our Warren County Sports Authority will be there with his crew. And
absolutely,
good job.
And we're going to be live streaming it too. So
that's right.
WCS TV is going to have that. BLTV channel 180, I think, will be on that as well. And if you can't catch it there, Warren County Sports Authority Facebook Live. We'll have Ansley Mulliken on the sideline. Our Twitter, _WCSA. This is a 7-0 football team, and it deserves all the coverage it's going to get. And we're going to bring it plenty of coverage on that Friday night.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think they've got their tickets under GoFan. So the thing is, buy that ticket, make it across that interstate, and bring your earphones. You can still listen to all these guys hoot and holler and do all that mess, but come down there and stomp at stadium.
Might also mention 1230waki.com.
Yep.
That's it.
You can hear that. You can listen to it on your phone if you want to. Well, we thank you for watching with us this evening. And on behalf of Security Federal, our sponsor, and want to thank Mud Bums for having us out here this evening. For Coach Matt Turner, Warren County Sports Authority Jeff Simmons, I'm Shay Walker. We'll see you next time on Turner Time.
Go Pioneers.